Ladies and gentlemen, we are outside of the new Sheogorath Palace. Inside is Sheogorath and our friend Haskell and some other people, I would assume, as well. Really, that's just a big tease, right? That's really just a big tease for our next episode. No, not our next episode. Our next episode in like a few months from now, after we finish reading the rest of the books. Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna do some reading somewhere around here. We'll find a spot to sit down. Maybe we'll even go inside and just hang out with our boy Sheogorath. I don't know if he has any. I don't know. Does he have any benches in there to wait? Is there anywhere to sit down over here, or I'm just gonna be standing around? I don't really know. We're gonna find out. Théoden is the Lord of Mania. Cool. Wow, there really is nowhere to sit over here, huh? Alright, well, I guess we'll just stick outside. We'll just stand and read today. Also, we move way too fucking fast. That was a mistake. It was definitely a mistake making the athletics that goddamn crazy. We'll set that, as well as the acrobatics, back down to just boring old level 100, yeah. That was like, if I walked anywhere, I was getting myself in trouble. So let's, yeah, let's keep that relatively normal. Yeah, we got, also between episodes, sold a bunch of stuff, dropped off a bunch of stuff, so we're back down to 163 pounds out of our 1,150. And we also got 2,629,223 gold. Yeah. Pretty goddamn crazy. Some of the stuff is also quest items that I purchased back that I cannot drop off, which is kind of unfortunate. But, yeah, so today, we're not even going to be reading any Shivering Isles books quite yet. We still have another 11 base game books to read. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, they might all be related to some story. Oh, maybe not. I don't know. Right, we got Chim. This is part 6, yeah. We have More Than Mortal, Part 10. Surfeit of Thieves. Oh, this one's its own standalone. Okay, we have a standalone. The Importance of Where. That's another Part 3. The Ransom of Zarek. That's Part 1. We got The Real Baron Zaya, of course. And then we got The Seed, which is Part 2. Okay, yeah, we have one last... Wow. You know, I think we're gonna do some reading of the of DLC stuff today. Actually, then, so we'll finish. We'll finish Surfeit of Thieves, right? And then once that is done, we'll do some DLC books, and yeah. And then when next we return in the next video, we'll do some of the that book series. But yeah, all right. Surfeit of Thieves by Anis. That's a tough name right there, dude. Anise. We'll go with Anise. Naru. Oh, that's a really tough name. This looks interesting, said Indik. We got Anus and Indik already. I mean, come on, said Indik, his eyes narrowing to observe the black caravan making its way to the spires of the secluded castle. A gaudy alien coat of arms marked each carriage, the liqueur glistening to the light of the moons. Who do you suppose they are? They're obviously well off, smiled his partner, Heria. Perhaps some new imperial cult dedicated to the acquisition of wealth. Go into town and find out what you can about the castle, said Indik. I'll see if I can learn anything about who these strangers are. We meet on this hill tomorrow night. Heria had two great skills, picking locks and picking information. By dusk of the following day, she had returned to the hill. Indik joined her an hour later. The place is called Ald Alera, she explained. It dates back to the Second Era when a collection of nobles built it to protect themselves during one of the epidemics. They didn't want any of the diseased masses to get into their midst and spread the plague, so they built up quite a sophisticated security system for the time. Of course, it's mostly fallen into ruin, but I have a good idea about what kind of locks and traps might still be operational. What did you find out? I wasn't nearly so successful, frowned Indik. No one seemed to have any idea about the group, even that they were here. Okay. Even that they were here. Okay. I was about to give up, but at the charter house, I met a monk who said that his masters were a hermetic group called the Order of Saint Inua. I talked to him for some time, this fellow name of Parathian, and it seems they're having some sort of ritual feast tonight. Are they wealthy? Asked Harriet impatiently. Embarrassingly so, according to the fellow, but they're only at the castle for tonight. I have my picks on me, winked Harriet. Opportunity has smiled on us. She drew a diagram of the castle in the dirt. The main hall and kitchen were near the front gate, and the stables and secured armory were in the back. The thieves had a system that never failed. Harriet would find a way into the castle and collect as much loot as possible, while Indic provided the distraction. He waited until his partner had scaled the wall before rapping on the gate. Perhaps this time he would be a bard, or a lost adventurer. The details were most fun to improvise. Harriet heard Indic talking to the woman who came to the gate, but she was too far away to hear the words exchanged. He was evidently successful. A moment later, she heard the door shut. The man had charm, she would give him that. Only a few of the traps and locks to the armory had been set. Undoubtedly, many of the keys had been lost in time. Whatever servants had been in charge of securing the Order's treasures had brought a few new locks to affix. It took extra time to maneuver the intricate hasps and bolts of the new traps before proceeding to the old but still working systems, but Harriet found her heart beating with anticipation. Whatever lay beyond the door, she thought, must be of sufficient value to merit such protection. When at last the door swung quietly open, the thief found her various dreams paled to reality. A mountain of golden treasure, ancient relics glimmering with untapped magicka, weaponry of matchless quality, gemstones the size of her fist, row after row of strange potions, and stacks of valuable documents and scrolls. She was so enthralled by the sight, she did not hear the man behind her approach. "You must be Lady Trest," said the voice, and she jumped. It was a monk in a black, hooded robe, intricately woven with silver and gold threads. For a moment she could not speak. This was the sort of encounter that Indic loved, but she could think to do nothing not. Dude, I am struggling today. This was the sort of encounter that Indic loved, but she could think to do nothing but nod her head with what she hoped looked like certainty. "I'm afraid I'm a little lost," she stammered. "I can see that," the man laughed. "That's the armory. I'll show you the way to the dining hall. We were afraid you weren't going to arrive. The feast is nearly over." Harriet followed the monk across the courtyard to the double doors leading to the dining hall. A robe identical to the one he was wearing hung on a hook outside, and he handed it to her with a knowing smile. She slipped it on. She mimicked him as she lowered the hood over her head and entered the hall. Torches illuminated the figures within around the large table. Each wore the uniform black robe that covered all features, and from the look of things, the feast was over. Empty plates, platters, and glasses filled every inch of the wood, with only the faintest spots and dribbles of the food remaining. It was a breaking of a fast, it seemed. For a moment, Harriet stopped to think about poor lost Lady Trest with her who had missed her opportunity for gluttony. The only unusual item on the table was its centerpiece, a huge golden hourglass, which was on its last minute's worth of sand. Though each person looked alike, some were sleeping, some were chatting merrily to one another, and one was playing a lute. Indic's lute, she noticed, and then noticed Indic's ring on the man's finger. Harriet was suddenly grateful for the anonymity of the hood. Perhaps Indic would not realize that it was she, and that she had blundered. "Trest," said the young man to the assembled, who turned as one to her and burst into applause. I already know this is going to be some cannibal shit, isn't it? Probably. The conscious members of the order arose to kiss her hand and introduce themselves. Nerdla, Sulek, Kyler. The names got stranger. Taniope, Hittitus, Noitarep. She could not help laughing. "I understand. It's all backwards." "Oh, is it?" "It's all backwards. Your real names are Aldrin, Celius, Relic, Poinat, Stylith, Prathian. Of course, said the young man. Won't you have a seat? Say, giggled... Alright, wait, then what's your name if your name is Trest? Oh, yep. Yeah, what did I say? Oh, wow, I realized that all of your names are backwards. I'm not going to think about my own name of Trest. Yeah, your dessert, bud. The dinner is over. Your dessert. Dumbass. Of course, said the young man. Won't you have a seat? Say, giggled Harriet, getting into the spirit of the mask and taking an empty chair. I suppose that's when the hourglass runs out. The backwards names go back to normal. That's correct, Trest, said the woman next to her. It's just one of our order's little amusements. This castle seemed like the appropriately ironic venue for our feast, devised as it was to shun the plague victims who were, in their way, a walking dead. The walking dead? Oh shit. Harriet felt herself lightheaded from the odor of the torches and bumped into the sleeping man next to her. He fell face forward onto the table. Poor Esruik Srif. That's first course. Oh boy. Esruik Srif. First course? Poor Surf. Oh boy, said a neighboring man, helping to prop the body up. He's given up so much. Harry? I don't know. Stumbled to her feet and began walking uncertainly for the front gate. Where are you going, Trest? Asked one of the figures, his voice taking on an unpleasant, mocking quality. My name isn't Trest, she mumbled, gripping Indic's arm. I'm sorry, partner, we need to go. The last crumb of sand fell in the hourglass as the man pulled back his hood. It was not Indic. It was not even human, but a stretched grotesquerie of a man with hungry eyes and a wide mouth filled with tusk-like fangs. Harriet fell back into the chair of the figure they called Esruik Srif. First course, his hood fell open, revealing the pallid, bloodless face of Indic. As she began to scream, they fell on her. In her last living moment, Harriet finally spelled Trest backwards. Whoa, wow! Who could have seen some shit like that coming, huh? Well, that was the Surfeit of Thieves, and yeah, we got 10 more books from the main game, all of which are related to different stories, 5 for each story. So yeah. Anyway, so we're gonna switch over and do some books from the Shivering Isles. What do we got here? Alright, that's 19 pages, and then followed by Tharn, 15 pages. Alright, yeah, we'll do that. Bark and Sap. The root system and the ecology and culture of the Gnarl. Disclaimer. The editors wish to express that the views contained herein belong solely to the author and have been printed posthumously and anonymously. Forward, before this present volume, little existed detailing the root system, tunnels, and Gnarl but rumors, superstitions, and outright falsities. After consideration of such rumors, and after much research and expedition into the root systems to see the Gnarl and their natural habitat firsthand, this author will elucidate the ecology and culture of the Gnarl, the nature of the root system, and their symbiotic relationship. The root system, commonly believed to be a series of natural caverns and rock formations with roots and foliage growing within, the root system tunnels are, in fact, part of a giant living organism. Not only are these tunnels a living organic root-like entity, but each of the so-called root dungeons represents a smaller piece of a larger whole. The roots of all the trees, indeed of most of the plant life on the Isles, all connect directly to the large root system. The various twisting and turning tunnels have been created slowly over past millennia. Indeed, the growth and motion of the roots is imperceptible, though definitely recordable. The very fastest growing tunnels increase at a rate of a few feet every month. Man, we'll have to go back to these places, huh? Just kidding, that's never going to change. But anyway. And the slowest, a few inches every few decades. Amber. Amber is a colorful resin formed from hardened sap, Much like skin bleeds and scabs over to protect a wound, the root system tunnels bleed a sap that congeals and hardens into amber deposits. Even still, the walls of the roots are very resilient. Swinging a sword at the wall is not enough to puncture it. The large fissures that cause the appearance of amber are the result of the massive pressures and frictional forces encountered by the giant roots as they push through tons of rock and dirt. The gnarl. The current and best theory describes the gnarl as the caretakers and stewards of the root system. The creatures tend to the general maintenance and cleaning of the tunnels, clearing away excess amber. This behavior has been observed directly, but observation time was limited due to the aggressive nature of the gnarl. However, the abundance of amber found on the corpses of the creatures further supports this view. There has been some conjecture, though at present very little evidence to support the claim, that as gnarl grow, they eventually become too large to maneuver the tunnels, and eventually fuse within the walls, becoming themselves part of the root system. As to the recent claims of giant gnarl, it should be noted that no credible source exists to corroborate. However, even were these reports to be true, the rarity of such sightings would suggest that only a very few gnarl ever grow large enough to ascend to this root state. Little is known about the natural lifespan of the gnarl or their social behavior, since observational expeditions into the root system are difficult at best. We do know with certainty that they are very territorial. The gnarl are so protective of their tunnels that they will respond aggressively to anyone who comes within sight, which makes studying their social systems nigh impossible. This behavior has, however, provided us with an abundance of corpses to study at our leisure. When we analyze the corpses of dead gnarl, we can see clearly that these creatures are made entirely of plant material. They are covered in bark and leaves, and over time they decompose similarly to other plant detritus. All attempts to plant gnarl, or parts thereof, into the ground have been proven simply folly. To date, we don't actually know how the gnarl reproduce. Upon examination, we have found nothing that looks like a brain as found in other sentient creatures. This does lend credence to the symbiotic caretaker theory, suggesting a kind of hive mentality, though there have been no substantiated sightings of any such queen gnarl, who might be controlling the drones. The other available explanation is that it is magic that animates these creatures, though this author finds resolving difficult questions to this manner to be counterproductive to the development of a rational theory. I mean, we are in the Shivering Isles, land of fucking Sheogorath. Like, everything here is magic, bruh. Conclusion. The complex root is a living organism that grows little by little each month, tunneling beneath the land. Virtually all the plant life of the Isles is connected to the root system. Severe trauma to the system walls results in the formation of amber deposits as part of its natural defense mechanism. The root system has a symbiotic relationship with the gnarl, who act as its protectors and caretakers, and who may be phyletically and psychologically connected to the root system itself. In short, we have a living system with its own dedicated staff of protector caretakers, growing and developing largely unnoticed beneath our very feet. Here, the editors wish to acknowledge that the author was found dead near the entrance to one of the root dungeons. We again wish to remind the reader that the opinions expressed by this author are his own. While we do not dismiss the rational method employed by the author in his studies, we certainly do not deny that magic is explanation enough for our Lord Sheogorath's many wondrous blessings. We did, however, carefully consider omitting this clearly treasonous second half. We have decided to include it for journalistic integrity, and at the request of his generous widow. Okay. Afterward. And now I will venture towards that theoretical discussion which draws near hearsay, which I dare say will one day be the end of me, but which I must put forward for good or ill. The common belief is that our Lord Sheogorath has blessed our land with two temperaments, mania and dementia. However, after much study and reasoning, I believe that it is the very realm itself that imposes upon us these two spheres of polar extremes. Oh, whoa. Big-time theories here. I have devised a clever experiment whereby I seek to prove this theory. If you take a flower from a common plant, cut it and place its stem in water with dye in it, you will notice that the petals will slowly take on the color of the dye. Clearly, the veins of the plant transport the color to the leaves. Now, when we look at the dementia side of the land, colors are muted and dark, and in the mania side, bright and colorful. I believe the root system and the gnarl that serve it are draining the color from the land of dementia and giving it to the land of mania. For what purpose, it isn't clear, but my experiment shows how color is transported through plant veins, and what bigger system of plant veins is there than the giant root system tunnel network? Is it not then obvious that this system is the conduit of the forces of mania and dementia? Sure. But no. What? Okay. Do we not eat the plants and the fruit of the trees that connect to the root system and the beasts that feed on them, and drink the waters that fall from their leaves? Do we not breathe the air that carries their spores and seeds? Do we not throw our own waste onto the ground to be absorbed into the soil? Do we do that? Yeah, okay, I don't know. Thus, are we not intimately connected to the giant root system under our feet? Surely, we are one with it. Clearly, the root system is feeding those of us in the mania brilliant color, giving us our mood swings, filling our hearts with passions and sensations, and giving us powerful urges by stealing these things from our fellows in dementia, leaving them dark, desperate, angry, violent, and disturbed. Sheogorath is not the source of our gifts. It is the land itself that has unbalanced us so. Oh, you fucking heretic, okay. The gnarl are the servants and lifeblood of this parasitic process. If we were to kill all the gnarl, the balance would be restored. Oh, jeez, okay. Yeah, fucking hunt down all the gnarl. I mean, I guess I've been kind of doing that myself anyway. Mania would be less bright, true, but so would dementia be less dark. We, in our world, would become whole again. Let go of your belief in the collective fantasy of Sheogorath. Bruh, like, he does exist, though. Like, there's no denying that he's a fucking god. Let go of your belief in your own special gifts. We must destroy the gnarl and the root system. We must destroy those who shackle us to belief in some haughty and aloof ruler who toys with our emotions and well-being. To arms, brothers and sisters! To arms! Wow, okay, that took a very... started off like super scientific, and then very quickly became, God, we should overthrow the government. That was a crazy just jump from A to Z right there. Okay. Well, Fall of Whitethorn. Did I read this already? Oh, I don't think I actually have every book from the DLC added yet. Okay, well, I'll have to do that, but that's not the worst thing ever. Alright, well, the next would be the Blessings of Sheogorath. Oh. Okay, well, let's do it. The 13 Blessings of Sheogorath. We're going to go from overthrow Sheogorath to his blessings. Okay. For our Lord Sheogorath, without whom all thought would be linear, and all feeling would be fleeting. Blessed are the madmen, for they hold the keys to secret knowledge. Blessed are the phobic, always wary of that which would do them harm. Blessed are the obsessed, for their courses are clear. Blessed are the addicts, may they quench the thirst that never ebbs. Blessed are the murderous, for they have found beauty in the grotesque. Blessed are the fire lovers, for their hearts are always warm. Blessed are the artists, for in their hands the impossible is made real. Blessed are the musicians, for in their ears they hear the music of the soul. Blessed are the sleepless, as they bask in wakeful dreaming. Blessed are the paranoid, ever watchful of our enemies. Blessed are the visionaries, for their eyes see what might be. Blessed are the pain lovers, for in their suffering we grow stronger. Blessed is the mad god, who tricks us when we are foolish, punishes us when we are wrong, tortures us when we are unmindful, and loves us in our imperfection. Praise be to the Lord Sheogorath. Okay. What else we got here? The Shivering Apothecary. Alright, yeah, this will be our last one. Yeah. The Shivering Apothecary. Author, Cinda Amadius. We did her quest before, not too long ago, I don't believe. In whatever town she lived in. I forgot what town it was. That was the quest we had to kind of cheat our way through towards the end, because, god damn, I wasn't going to record for 7 hours trying to fix bugs within the game. Hell nah. Anyway, many things. Wet things and dry things. Things from plants, things from animals, things from stone and sky and tree and man and myrrh. So many beautiful things for potions. All of them there for the taking, waiting to be plucked and put to use. Grind me, take my essence and turn me into something new, something wonderful. They cry out to me. I have given my life to finding so many of the wondrous things of Tamriel, and now the things that lie beyond. The realm of the mad god, dangerous and beckoning, has so many new things to offer that I have trembled with excitement over it. I stopped to take note of what I have found, so that I may not forget it in the coming days when I spend my time searching, mixing, and discovering. The apprentice will find that marrow from the shambles and fins from Scalons merge to make a deadly poison that strikes at one's very heart, damaging the health of those who ingest it. Many a blade did I sink into the wet flesh and dry bone to learn this. But what I have found pleases me. Flame stalks and the very essence of flesh Atronachs can be mixed by even a novice to counter that damage, as one can drink a potion made from these two to feel healthy again. The expert may find that rather than risk himself against the walking monstrosities, the screaming maw can be used instead. For Magicka, and without Magicka, where would I stand now? The ichor of an elytra can be mixed with the withering moon by a novice or thornhook by a journeyman. No explorer in the Shivering Isles should venture forth without looking for these. The tongue of a hunger, by itself a marvel of anatomy, can be eaten to cure poisons, or matched with withering moon to cure disease. I cannot help but wonder what disease would be so dire as to risk one's life against a hunger. I'm sure there's probably plenty. I have been most pleased to find that to the expert alchemist, rot scale and worm's head caps can be mixed to paralyze one's enemies. This has proven most useful in extracting ingredients from the Isle's less cordial residents. Oh, and that is the Shivering Apothecary. I am imagining she'll probably be able to, Oh, well, wasn't she also writing a book? Yeah, I think she'll be able to write the next several chapters from all the shit that we gave her. Yeah, I think that's gonna do it for today. So, yeah. Thank you for watching. When next we return, we're gonna start reading at least one of those series. Probably not the Real Baron's Eye. That'll probably be the, kind of what we say for last. But, yeah. Till then, thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I hope you have a very good day.
Cause I don't wanna see the glow without you. Refuse to even leave my home without you. Or my brain's gonna explode without you. I don't even know how to cope without you. Cause I don't wanna see the glow without you. Refuse to even leave my home without you. Or my brain's gonna explode without you. I don't even know how to cope without you.